Hey, Abby, good to see you. I feel like we could all use a little bit of good news these days because, as you know, we all feel terrible about the economy, but it could be some good news. We're going to break it down. Americans, though, have never felt this bad about the economy. The University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index cratered, look at this, from 58.4 to 50.2. That's the lowest level since data collection began in the 70s. And I know you're hearing from clients who are concerned. So, what's contributing to our pessimism right now?
Yeah, so I think that we can all feel it. I mean, we go to the grocery store, we go and
Mhm.
get gas, you turn on your phone and see the news that's popping up. I mean, a lot of people feel like they're getting hit, on all sides really right now. So it's inflation, the highest it's been in a really long time. It's the combination of that and market volatility. We have some global tensions that have been going on for several months now.
Right.
And I think that a lot of people were just hoping that once we got through the worst of the pandemic, then things would be better and we would be back to normal. And some people were kind of white knuckling it to get to that point, and then here we are, and we have a whole new host of problems that we're facing right now. So it's
Right.
just a tough time for people
Right.
to deal with.
And you would think that low consumer sentiment would contribute to poor stock market returns, but sentiment is actually a contrary indicator. What does that mean?
So it means just that. So we think that if everybody's feeling the worst about the economy that we felt in, since it's been measured, then there's no light at the end of the tunnel. So it's
Mhm.
going to potentially get worse, and things are going to get even worse before they get better. But it's actually the opposite of that. So it's a little bit contrary to what people would assume.
Mhm.
And so typically what we've seen in the past, which we really like to rely on data and looking back at history to
Right.
see when we've been through times like this before, what has happened after that. It's a
Right.
better way to judge, what might happen next than just relying on our own emotions and our own thoughts about it. We really want to rely on analysis and data, and it really shows us that when we do go to these really low points in consumer sentiment for the next year, there's actually quite a good chance of some good stock returns, especially the S&P 500.
Right, Abby, I'm glad you brought that up. Let's break it down. And I just want to remind everybody watching that you are backed by a team of investment experts at Brookstone Capital Management. And this is from CIO Mark Diorio, who crunched 50 years of data. So let's talk about that data because it's going to make us feel better. Abby, what are we looking at?
Yeah, so Mark and his team at Brookstone, they're just the best of the best, and
Right.
that's why we've chosen to partner with them for our investment management. They constantly are studying data, they're constantly crunching numbers, and giving us that insight that is really important and what our clients really want to see. So this shows the 8 sentiment troughs
Hmm.
of the past many years, so it's back to 1971, and then the subsequent 12-month S&P returns, which have averaged 24.9%.
Right.
So basically, in plain English, it's when consumers feel the worst, the next 12 months is actually quite good for the S&P 500. So
Hmm.
what that kind of means is that it's actually maybe a bottom indicator. So it's not a prediction. So we like to be very clear. Nobody knows what's going to happen next. Nobody has a crystal ball, unfortunately, but it is an indicator that we might have reached the bottom or are close to it, and that
Hmm.
there's hope. That there's hope for the next 12 months. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and hopefully that gives people some comfort and just an idea of what's happened in the past during these type
Right,
times.
it does. It makes me feel better at the very least, Abby. And this is also when we remind people that it's not about timing the markets. Like you said, nobody can predict it. It's about time in the markets. And this is another one of our favorite graphs from Mark Diorio, which shows a $10,000 investment over a 15-year period. And if you miss just the 10 best days, which are often smushed right up against those bad days, look at how much money you're losing.
Yeah, so you're leaving a lot of money on the table if
Hmm.
you are not picking an investment strategy and a retirement plan and an income plan and sticking to it.
Hmm.
So this doesn't mean, never making changes and sitting on your hands and, just kind of watching things as they happen. It means, sitting with a trusted professional, a trusted advisor, and basing changes that you make on your specific situation, on analysis and research and data. And that provides much better results than relying on maybe emotion and fears and those type things and just, panicking and moving out and sitting there in cash or something like that, because then there's no plan on how to get back. And that's the hardest thing is, when do I go back to my investment
Right,
strategy?
right.
And how do I do that? So having a plan and making sure that you can stick to it, even in the hard times.
Hmm.
This is really when it's the most important thing to have a plan and to be able to stick to it.
Yeah, well said. And talking it through really does help. Looking at the data does help. So, Abby, if somebody would like to talk this through with you, what's the best way to reach you?
Sure. So they can always give us a call at 678-442-0255. You can also visit us on our website. So it's theretirementfamily.com. Send us a message. Let us know that you'd like to talk to one of our fiduciary advisors, and we'll set up a call to talk through your concerns and see what we can do to help you.
So helpful. All right, Abby, thank you.
Thanks, Erin.